The buses began to roll into Neptune, California late Friday afternoon and didn't slow up until Monday. They arrived dusty, windshields speckled with dead insects and fractures from stray flying stones, the chaos of the interstate. They pulled in along the boardwalk, trembling with pent-up noise, shivering like dogs waiting for a command. Their routes mapped out an arterial network, connecting the little seaside town to all the university cities in the western United States, to LA and San Diego, to the Bay Area and the Inland Empire, to Phoenix, Tucson, Reno, to Portland and Seattle, to Boulder, to Boise, even to Provo. Bright, excited faces peered from every window, pressed to the glass. One after another, the bus's folding doors clattered open, and students poured out into the streets. They looked around at the sand and the surf, the carnival rides lit up along the boardwalk, the foot-tall drinks. Some had just finished term papers the night before. Others had stayed up all night studying for tests. Now suddenly they'd awakened in a fairyland that had popped into existence, just for their pleasure. Screaming with laughter, they flooded the town. They stumbled through the streets, blind, drunk, trusting that the magic that had brought them here would keep them from falling. And for exactly 3 nights, it did. By Wednesday morning, the coastal town that sparkled at night looked mundane. Not just mundane, dirty. Pools of spilled beer collected in the seams of the sidewalk, and the rank tang of overfilled dumpsters wafted out from the alleys. The ghostly forms of used condoms littered doorways and bushes, and shattered glass covered the street. The Sea Nymph Motel was eerily silent when 18-year-old Brie LaFond stumbled in. Almost all of the guests were spring breakers, and the party didn't get started until early afternoon. She had been at a rave on the inland edge of town, and by the time the party had wound down at 4 a.m., she hadn't been able to get a cab. She'd still been high enough that the idea of walking back to the motel had seemed feasible. Now, bone-tired, she trudged through the sandy courtyard to the room where she and her 3 best friends from UC Berkeley had rented. It was one of the cheapest available, facing the dumpster in the parking lot. Now she didn't care, fumbling with the lock and wanting only to fall into one of the 2 doubles they'd been sharing all week. The room's blinds gaped open, letting in a ray of pallid light. Leah sprawled across the bed with her head shoved under a pillow, still wearing a sequin dress from the night before. Her legs were bruised and smudged with dirt. Melanie sat with her back to the headboard, sipping from a paper Starbucks cup. She wore board shorts and a bikini top, her long blonde hair tousled and smears of makeup caking her eyes. She looked up when she heard the door open. "I have a surf lesson in like half an hour, and I'm still drunk," she said. She looked at Bree, her eyes focusing with difficulty. "Where have you been? You look like shit." "Thanks a lot." Bree leaned down to unzip her boots, her feet throbbing. "Where's Haley? Is she surfing too?" "Haven't seen her." Melanie closed her eyes and rested her head back against the wall. Bree froze, one boot off, the other still pinching her toes. She looked up. "Since when?" Since the party on Monday, I guess." Melanie opened her eyes. "Shit." Bree blinked, then tugged the other boot off her foot. She sank to the bed and gently pushed Leah's shoulder. "Hey, Leah, wake up. Did you see Haley yesterday?" Leah gave a low moan from under the pillow. For a moment, she curled into a tight ball, her arms circled protectively over her head. It took them a few more minutes of prodding and cooing her name before she finally pulled away the pillow and looked blearily up at them. "Haley? Not since the party on Monday." A bleak, empty feeling expanded into every corner of Bree's body. She scrolled back through her messages. There was nothing from Haley since Monday afternoon. "Invited to a party in a mansion tonight. Wanna go?"